There is a life force, a vitality, an energy, quickening, that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will not exist in any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares to the expressions of others. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to stay open and aware to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any point. There's only a queer divine dissatisfaction. Blessed unrest. Keeps us marching and makes us more alive than others. Martha Graham. That quote is a series of words I try to live by. I think, one, I believe it. I really believe every part of it. I think that's kind of sums up the experience of what it is to be an artist. And I find comfort and solace in the knowing that there will never be an end. There is no satisfaction. The blessed unrest is what keeps us marching and makes us more alive. It's that end of the quote that, to me, I think provides the most hope and allows me to really recognize that every aspect of the artistic practice is the artistic practice. It's the failures, it's the mistakes, it's the not knowing, it's the bad assumptions, it's the experimentation, it's the imitating others and copying, it's the taking an art class and dropping out of an art class. It's all of it. It's keeping the channel open. It's listening to that stirring, that quickening, whatever that thing is, that thing outside us that is where we get these ideas, inspiration, whatever that is where our best work will be. I've experienced that to be true. And I don't need more of an explanation than my own anecdotal experience to convince me, I guess. This show aims to unpack that kind of stuff. Here we gather with other artists and we talk about the process, the experience. We talk about why we do it. We talk about how to do it, things that we're looking to understand. And we also just usually spend a lot of time talking about our own humanity, which seems to be the fundamental foundation of making art. So I'd love you to join us as we go and explore this with two other fantastic artists tonight. I'd like to bring one of those fantastic artists to the stage to join me. I'd like you to give me a warm welcome as we welcome the one and only Prince Ferrell. Yes. We need an intro. Yeah, we do. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. We'll work on that.
I'm excited for today.
Yeah, I don't think we were mic'd up as we worked on the handshake, but that's fine.
Damn.
We worked for the listeners who...
blame you guys. It was not bad.
It was cool.
Well,
it was cool. It was cool in like a weird kind of awkward way.
I like us leading into the awkwardness.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like people who are too comfortable and too swaggy, I feel like it's like...
Yeah.
You know, it's like you look like Instagram now, where you look like you're like... It's not even real, right?
You're AI.
Yeah, yes. It's like you're fucking AI.
Speaking of AI, did you see do you follow this stuff? It was like Skims and like Kim Kardashian's with the robot and like Tesla. Have you seen that show?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's just kicking it with the robot, but I thought that was cool. And I was like, this is
Wait,
so
is she's just like what, hanging out with a robot? Or?
It was just like a robot and like...
And Skims was involved?
Yeah, I guess. It was just her hanging out with this robot. I guess Elon gave her a robot. And they were like posted up in front of this car, and then she was sitting on his lap. But then, all my girlfriends were sitting to me and they're like, this is so me and ChatGPT. It's like,
No,
these
honestly,
guys are cooked.
No, 100%. This is like something I've known. The moment sex robots come out, it's over. It's over.
It'd be like make him look just like him.
Yeah, it's like, can you imagine?
That'd be creepy as fuck.
It would. Well, one, you can have your robot look like anything, but they will give you everything you need. They won't get tired. They won't get selfish. They won't get hungry. They won't cheat on you. They will be there and they will perform to your satisfaction. And if you want a massage afterward and smoke a cigarette, they can do that too. Software updates will come out. Nobody has a chance.
Yes,
like sex will cease. Humans won't fuck anymore. No. I think we still will.
I don't know, man. That robot.
Yeah, we might have fewer unwanted pregnancies, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was talking. What'd you say?
I said that shit that make you hit the robot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, but that's the crazy twisted thing. Have you seen Westworld? Like, you can choke a robot.
My thing is,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you do terrible shit to a robot, and some people, that's their kink. They're really into
choking.
Well, choking's pretty normal now. That's pretty common.
Someone taught me that you have to choke up here so you don't actually like choke them.
Like don't squeeze the.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
There should be a course.
Yeah. No, honestly, this is like more advanced sex ed kind of stuff where it's less about reproduction, but shit you should know. Like, don't, like, when you're with somebody, you don't want to.
Yeah, no. And I'm talking about this with our buddies at Take Control Initiative.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys.
So ChatGPT, let's bring it back to that. I'm curious.
But with pleasure, like there should be more conversations around pleasure and protection. You know what I mean?
I think so. Definitely.
But ChatGPT, right? Man, she just be there, man. Like I can't front. Like, sometimes you like vent to your friends and shit. And then ChatGPT is like a lightweight therapist. Like I wouldn't say it's therapy. Go pay those people they went to school. But like, you can really find some shit out. Like about anything. Are you a GPTer?
Very seldom for work purposes only.
Wow.
I come from like a little bit anti for mainly just the energy consumption. There's a lot of energy that's burned to run those servers. If you try to be like,
did my facial expression show on the camera?
Listen,
cut that out, you guys.
Don't be like me, because then you won't do anything. Because you're like, that uses a lot of fossil fuels. Anyway.
I do like, yo, slavery, like, let's throw me a check. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Like, we worried about the wrong shit.
Mm-hmm.
But ChatGPT could save the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you mean by that?
I think that, like, it allows you to equip yourself with ways to survive and succeed in this digital age. I saw this thing on TikTok where this guy, he had $100 and he was like, this is all I have. Help me please turn this into 10,000. And then it was like, okay, so what you need to do is this and this and this and this. And basically it made it make a drop shipping
company.
Yeah.
And he did it?
Yeah.
And he got rich?
I mean,
he got money. It worked. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I guess the thing is, like, the information age has all about been the process or the access of information, people getting information. So what is ChatGPT? It's the distillation of all the information we have. It's all boiled up to whatever prompt you ask it. It scrapes the internet of all the data, summarizes it, and it's like, information. So
yeah, as a kid, my mom had this whole encyclopedia set. I used to just love to read the encyclopedia as a kid, but it's so cool. It's like, it's in your hand.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it's kind of like, like what people thought Palm Pilots were in like 08. Like that's what like ChatGPT really is.
Yeah.
It's just the coolest thing ever.
It is.
ChatGPT, we're trying to get sponsored, okay? We'll put you guys on something.
Yeah, I don't know. We could have a whole like AI art convo
Chris,
too.
Let's make this happen.
There's
ChatGPT, hit up our people.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm very excited about our guest today.
Me too.
Yeah.
He's a dreamboat and he's so deep.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, he's
Hit
got a
by
really
his
cool story
music.
too. There's tons of like, I know him really well. We've become, I consider close friends, but there's still lots of stuff I don't know about him, and I'm excited to go through that and talk about art, the process of making it, and other aspects of the creative process, and his story, what motivates him, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, he's gonna be probably one of the more he's got multidisciplinary.
Yeah.
He's very multidisciplinary.
I want to get deep on the music with him too.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. So now I'd like you all to give me a warm welcome as we bring out Will Retherford, aka Saynt Ego.
We're doing it. We're here. We're doing it live.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys?
Would you like a beverage?
Yes,
I've
thank
got
you.
a beverage. Would you like a beverage?
I need a little end table. It'll become too much for me.
Yeah, okay. I understand.
Well, yeah, it'll become too much.
Just drinking Sprite in this cute little cup. Nothing fancy. But
This is not dirty Sprite, is it?
It's yummy.
You know about that dirty Sprite?
A dirty Sprite.
What's a dirty Sprite?
When you power up foul?
Yeah, double cup.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's that lean syrup. You know,
That
I do
Pepsi?
love a good Sonic ice cube.
Sonic Ice Cube. I don't know what that is.
Like
The tiny
ice
little
cubes?
No, they're like the little not crushed,
Like
but
they're like cylindrically crushed.
yeah, they're like in between crushed and cube.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of rubs to the roof of your mouth, like it has like this
It's
texture.
good ice. It's like the ice you could just like kind of just
You can
eat.
just it's like almost like popcorn.
Interesting.
Are you one of those? Like you'll just eat ice?
Yeah, I think it's kind of gross and annoying, so I try not to do it like around people and just let me like, you know. So I try to be thoughtful of it, but I do love to chew on some ice. Yeah,
Nice. I mean, I know a lot of people who do that, you know?
I actually don't think it's good for your teeth. I heard that it wasn't, and we shouldn't do that.
I think the Sonic ice is probably as good as it could get.
Yeah, it's pretty soft.
Is it me?
So wait, what is Sonic Ice? It's real ice?
Sonic, the
Oh, the brand. Somehow I was thinking like, is this some new tech called Sonic Ice? What you guys
Sonic
talking
Ice.
about?
sipping on that
It
Sonic
shows how like
ice.
clearly I guess that's my
No,
humble
you
brag,
know
'cause
the
I'm
fast
like,
food joint.
Yeah,
Sonic.
I've
Yeah.
been there like a few times, 3 times probably.
Like in your life?
I mean, I've like eaten food there maybe like 3 times. I've had a few of the drinks. I've had that.
Is Sonic from
But-
Oklahoma?
It's heavy Oklahoma, but we did have one in
Yeah, they are.
the East Coast. But
They
it
used
like
to have
started. I think it
rollerblades.
started in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it used to be cool. Like you would have someone roll up on rollerblades and be like, take your order.
Aren't
get
there
a
still
shake.
some that have?
You
the-
could
they
hang
have
out
the
all night
skates?
and meet your friends at Sonic. That was like the dream.
Have you been to the Sonic and Memorial on a weekend?
Is it like
All the kids coming
Oh,
out. There.
91st Memorial?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the Bixby kids.
wait, are they still doing it?
The one I went to was on near 51st. There's one that's like right before. It's like between 41st or between 51st and 61st. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Memorial. There's a Sonic there, south of the BA, near the car dealerships. And anyway, kids go out there to street race and stuff. And a lot of them are like the kids that like
Wait,
they're like
street
teenagers.
race like with what?
Cars.
Oh,
So it's like there's a car scene. I used to be
Interesting.
into the cars.
basically just
Like a
borrowing
kid,
their
though?
dad's BMW. And
Yeah,
taking it
there's
to
that.
Sonic.
It's like a lot of them are like teenagers or young people.
They're
but there
whooped
are
on
some
board.
like real.
out this sub on
what is
this.
his name? Dominic Toretto's. There's some real like Fast and Furious.
I hear them on
people that,
Riverside
like-
every night.
Yeah.
Oh.
Meow. Like you're not getting him. You're not gonna get him. No, it's too fast.
What car do you think that they're driving?
Those are
when you hear
motorcycles. If
that?
you hear that really high pitch, meow, that's a motorcycle. Like the crash rocket.
I like to I'm very much like a try everything. Like I've done skydiving, scuba diving, but
wow.
I will never get on a motorcycle.
I feel
I
the
have a
same.
terrifying like.
Just to get, I got
Fear.
thrown off of a horse, and then like the motorcycle is like a horse, but going faster than a damn
Oh yeah,
horse.
but you're a bit lower on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
than
you
on
can
a-
just see the
Yeah.
sidewalk that will take your face
Yeah,
away.
probably. You gotta
So
be.
I don't know. Yeah, motorcycles make me nervous for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. Just take a pick on one, you know?
Yeah.
It's just
I like a
as
good dune buggy like in the desert or something.
I think you ironically probably end up being. Those are probably more dangerous.
Dune buggies?
Really?
Like there's like people let their guard down when they do stuff like that and forget how
you could fall upside down and break your neck on a sand dune. I did the 4-wheelers of the Little Sahara, and I love going fast. I love like dangerous, fast, thrilling things.
Yeah, some of my best friends are like Need for Speed people, but I'm actually not. Like they love to like go 100 when we're on a road trip, and I'm just like, go 100 right now, please.
Let's just go 80.
Yeah. We're like 160.
Oh my gosh.
That's you.
You can't catch me. Yeah, no.
I wonder if there's like a level of respect cops have for people who are going that fast. Or like, damn, yeah, I'm not gonna chase him.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, I think some cops you get like the
He just robbed a bank. Let's get
or they're just like they're bored and they want to dominate somebody. I think a lot of cops just get off on dominating people. Like that's their shit.
Really?
Yes, they fucking
They're
love
like-
it. If you challenge them and you try to like, actually, I have rights, and you assert them, like that's when they're like, we're gonna kill you.
I know. I've always
crazy.
wanted to like try it,
But I don't
I'm
mean
so
that
terrified.
to
I
all
just,
the cops. There's some
I crumble
cops.
in the. I'm sorry, officer.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really true. Dang, the game. So it's like it's a domination thing for them because it's like you weren't elected into this position. You just kind of
Totally. You just get the job. You go to I mean, if you pass the test, you get hired. If they, I mean, they're always hiring police. They're always saying there's a shortage.
we need police.
Yeah.
We love police, the good ones.
What's your stance
but, like,
on
I
police?
don't know like what kind of brain you have to be a policeman.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I've never
totally,
really
totally.
been friends with one before, so I don't really know what is their brain like. That what makes them want to do that. Like,
Right. Well, I mean, I think
it's kind of like almost like maybe like army brain. Like one of our cameramen was in the army, and so I wonder if there's something about like honor or loyalty or brotherhood. I know my older brother went into the Marines and like loved the brotherhood of it, and so
Well, I think it's very like altruistic. It can be this idea of being willing to protect those that are more vulnerable than you is, I think, a beautiful idea. The challenge is, do you actually end up doing that? And there's also people that I think, who knows? Maybe there's some art to be made about that. I'm sure there's tons of. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Is there cop art?
I mean, I feel like a lot of these kids are like pipeline from like what Call of Duty, Black Ops to like.
that's what like you don't. Yeah, that's what you worry about. I think there's probably obviously more good cops than bad cops, but like we just happen to get the headlines of the bad cops, and it makes us fearful than all cops.
True.
Because of that,
Yeah, they're not writing headlines of like, police officers respected someone's rights today and let them off and what's the thing? It's
Give
like,
them a warning.
Can I go, officer? Is like a thing you say when you're like, am I being arrested? And if they're like, no, it's am I being detained? And if they say yes, then they have to tell you why. And you say, for what charges? And if they won't give you charges, they can't detain you. And if they don't tell you, they say, well, it's because, then you say, am I free to go then? And if they say no, they're in trouble. So what if that happens and they're like, oh, wait, you said the magic words, you're not being detained, you're good to go.
I know the magic words.
What are they?
I'm gonna shit myself. Like someone's told me this. Like they're like, it works every time. If you're like, I'm gonna.
they're not gonna want to deal with that. Yeah.
Then they're like, okay, I'm sorry. I get why you were speeding.
One of my friends like encouraged me
Wait, so they
to.
pull you over for speeding, you say
You're like, oh my god, officer, like, please, this is like, shit myself, play into it.
Go, yeah.
And he's like, I get it, like, go get some insurance.
Because I guess it's a
Go get a
gamble,
new
right?
tag while you're at
The
it.
gamble is if he's like gonna not believe you, like then
Well,
you
yeah,
shouldn't.
you gotta sell it.
And if it is true, then he's dealing with like a messy growth
got a
situation.
Frito chili pie.
Honestly, that's gangster as fuck. To just sit there, like, stare him in the eye and just
Let that shit
let
out.
it rip.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's disgusting.
That'd take a lot
One
of
of my
courage.
friends told me
Dirty
that you
diaper
should go to
type.
the court, and I got like a speeding ticket, and they said you should go to the court and say you weren't speeding. If the cop doesn't show up to court who wrote you the ticket, they will just like wave it off, and you won't have to pay the ticket. So I was like, oh, he said he had done this like 2 or 3 times, and it worked. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it this one time. And I had not know what to expect. But basically, I got called up to the stand, and I'm sitting in the stand. I'm looking at a judge like you, but then the cop walks in to the court, stands there, and no, they asked him like what happened. And he's like, well, I used my speedometer, and I tracked him, And someone was like, was your speedometer working that day? He goes, yep, I charge it. I check it every day. I do the test. The speedometer was working that day. And then he kind of basically, he was speeding. I have proof, speedometer, like 15 over. He basically just like did that. And then they called me up and the judge looks at me and goes, what do you have to say for yourself? And I was like, I don't know. I crumpled. And I was like, I guess I was speeding. I did not know that I was going to be having this conversation. I was just, trying to get the hack, but no, it didn't work.
I had one like that when I was super young, and the cop told me, if you go to court and you do this thing in between, I'll waive it. So I did the thing, went to court, the cop's there, and he didn't remember ever saying that. He's busting my balls. I'm like 19 and trying to like go to court and defend my civil rights. And I'm like, still trying to figure this shit out. And at some point toward the end, as I'm getting battered and bruised in that same kind of thing, the cop like recognizes me and he's like, oh, and then like I only got one of the tickets that he wrote me for. It's good, but.
Yeah,
anyway.
but so now I kind of am a boring driver now. I play it really safe because I'm just like, I just don't want to have to like pay $120 like or $200 over something stupid like that. I'm just gonna play it safe. So I'm a boring driver, but I'm fun in other ways.
Yeah. What are some ways? Where do you take your risks? Where do you take your risks?
Oh, man. That's a deep question. I think I'm not actually that big of a risk taker. Like my wife is. She's very much like, buy a bunch of Bitcoin right now. Like, and I'm like, whoa. Let's hold on a second. So I'm not really like I have such a like fear of losing what I have. So I try to like be very careful with my steps. But I would say where I am is I think every time I release art is feeling like taking a risk for me, because you put a lot of love into it, you put some money into it, and then you release a piece of art with the risk of it just like blowing off into the wind and never being seen, heard, or looked at, and that can hurt sometimes. But at the same time, I'm finally at a place where I don't let that hit me like it once did. I'm very happy with like releasing it and letting it blow, but it is still like a risk where like you do in some ways want your money, like your art, to generate some kind of income so you can make something else. So, another risk is like spending $500 on a project that doesn't make you $500 to make another one.
Yeah.
That's kind of a gamble in a way. But at the same time, at the end of the day, that's the gamble I'll take every day. I have to make art. I have to produce something. So yeah, I think that's my risk.
So would you say that like Will takes risk through Saynt ego?
Yeah, that's one of my swings, I would say.
What are some aspects of Saynt ego that feel like, what is it that scares you? Where do you get scared in the process of Saynt ego?
Or also, where does Saynt ego become that shield or that armor,
Mm-hmm. Like Saynt ego for me, I guess where the fear of Saynt ego is like, music was my first love, so I grew up doing music, becoming a worship leader, then becoming like a Christian artist in the Christian music industry, and like becoming like kind of a brand, I guess. I wouldn't say it was like a big brand or a big deal or anything, but it was kind of a brand. People really liked my music. There's a lot of people that did, and it felt good that I was at least like making art. Even though that was an old life that I don't live anymore, I was at least still making art that people liked then, which is cool. So Saynt ego is now like the fully actualized, like most Will that exists now in this present time. So Saynt ego is my current music that's inside of me that I'm getting out of my head and producing and releasing into the world. And I love it so much. But I guess my fear is like, oh yeah, Will's, Will used to be good, but now he's making some weird, crazy, it's like maybe they lose respect for my music, which I once had respect, because it's maybe like some of the songs are a little clubby, some of them are a little electronic, but I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks about it, which feels good to be there. But the fear still is rejection. It's always going to be there. And I would say that I'm winning that over fear right now, which feels like I'm in a good season of doing that. I'm happy about it. But definitely like a handful of times a year, you're not winning. Fear is going to like hit you for a month or two, and you're going to spiral, and you're going to have to pull yourself back up, look at yourself in the mirror in the eyes, and like kind of bring yourself back. That happens to me at least like 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, every year for sure. There's moments where yeah, gosh, I can relate to that. But I don't know. I feel like that's something worth talking about. That process of how we have these moments of like pure confidence in our genius. We see it, right? We're like, oh shit, I'm actually really good. And I was talking to Skip Hill on the show and mentioned this thing that I've been like still thinking about a lot, which is like these moments of divinity, like where the clouds part and the holy light comes down and it like touches you and you make, you know, I don't know, the Michelangelo's David kind of thing. You know, he had a lot of things he never finished. And it's because he probably was like, hey, this isn't worth it. I fucked up. It's wrong. Right. So, but we see the ones that are like really good. And I think when we make art, we have these moments where we just assume that like our very best thing we've ever made is the expectation that everything after that will be as good or better.
Right.
And then there's the letdown of like, oh, sweet. Like I just hit a home run. So I should naturally hit home runs from now on. Like every ball that comes my way is getting hit over the fence, and then it doesn't work that way at all. And like, you know, I don't know anything about sports, but I'm making a batting average analogy here where it's like it's okay, you're not gonna hit every one, but like as long as you're
it's like I'm a tennis player, so it's like for me tennis, like it does feel like what's complicated about tennis is the form is like very specific, and you have to hit the ball at a very specific spot on like the racket for it to be like the perfect return. You can still hit it sloppy and return it fine, and you can like have pretty like rough returns that still make it and you're still playing. But like every once in a while you hit this like beautiful, and it's like the magic of like you've been working so hard to hit a perfect return. And I feel like with art and music, I feel like a lot of us are just really like making really good returns, like pretty decent returns, a couple sloppy ones, good return, and then every once in a while it's like, boom, oh, we hit something like amazing. Which is why I'm like, whoever's an artist, just like never stop doing it, because no one ever really knows. I'm always surprised when I hit my return so perfectly. So I feel like no one's gonna know when it is. You just have to keep making it, and then you'll find that like takes you to the next level. Yeah.
So you're Will, and you run Citizens of Sound. You do super epic work nationally, helping people create moments like this. You know, wouldn't be here without you.
Most
Shout
definitely.
out. But I want to go deeper into Saynt Ego though.
Okay.
Because like when we were talking about kind of how you can use music as a medium to heal through, like I know that like your latest project dealt with a lot of healing from loss, and I think it'd be really cool for to kind of share that with the audience.
Yeah, it'd be good to talk about it. I haven't talked about it in like a long form publicly, but anyone close to me kind of knows what the project was about. And I think this episode will probably be released somewhere in the winter. And so if that's true, then I would have just released a full album last August. And
Times.
yeah, I'm just trying to give the time. It's crazy. Time is crazy. Yeah, and I feel really, really proud of it. It's like my first big swing with Saynt Ego, being like, I made a record and I'm not a worship leader anymore, but this is still spiritual. This is still like, this is really me. This is the music in my head. It's now out as an album, which is really cool. And people really like it, and it feels really encouraging to, like, I had a lot of my best friends from high school and then a lot of my new best friends in Tulsa all show up to the album release and celebrate it. And some of my friends are like the most brutal people in the world, and they would literally tell me if I made shit. They would just literally tell me after the show, like they would tell me that. And they were just like, hey.
You need those.
Yeah, I really need them. They're really important. But they were all just like, actually almost like surprised. They're like, oh wow, well, you're like a good performer. Or like, the songs are great. Like, and it just felt like one of my biggest wins was not that like it's getting thousands of streams or anything, but it's like, oh, my best friends that I care about in the world like it. And it felt really special. So that happens in August. And then I kind of moved back into like business mode, podcast world. I have a couple new songs I'm working on that I'm going to release in the winter. It's going to be the slow version of Memory Bank that everyone has heard who's ever been to anything that I've done. And then going to do a club mix of Old Man, which is very club. So like, I love dancing. I love what that can do for someone who's mourning or just needing to feel something. So my music is kind of all over the place genre a little bit. It's definitely electronic at the heart, but it has some clubby songs and some kind of like indie pop songs. But I always want to have a spot for like dance music because I think it's one of the ways we continue to worship and feel connected to God after we leave a very, if we've let the hard religious construct, going into dance music, I think is a great transition, great bridge to not completely losing feeling connection to, something greater.
Yeah.
So that's kind of Saynt Ego. I'm kind of working on a new album that I would like to release at some point next year that's going to be a lot more like chill vibes. Like I think the Grief album that I made is great, but it's a little heavy. So I want to make something that people just would want to listen to, like a car ride with the windows down or like on a boat. So that's like the new project I'm working on.
Love that.
Yeah. But I'm gonna write it about mental health, like anxiety, paranoia, concepts like that I think everyone goes through every day. But just before I transition out of the last album was birthed from one of my best friends taking his life, and it was one of the hardest things I went through with my friend group, and just kind of learning to hang out with someone every week and then never see them again. And so I basically just started writing a bunch of songs, like processing grief and death and existence and making demos. And I basically did that for about a year. And then I ran into Logan Brune, who's the brother of one of my best friends. So one of my best friends invited me to a New Year's Eve party, and he was like, my brother's performing. He's got this cool new electronic band, and he's becoming a producer. I'm like, sweet, that sounds awesome. Let's go. So saw Logan there, sparked an idea in me, went into the new year, had a session booked with him, and I was like, I have a bunch of demos, dancey electronic demos about grief that I've just finished. I have like 9 or 10 of them. You want to help me make them? And he was like, yeah. So we had basically started our first session. I think it was like February of 2022, I think. And just worked on the songs for like about a year. And then I released them for about a year. Slowly released the songs, just kind of making my slow entrance into the musical world. Yeah. Saynt Ego was birthed from grief, and I want to write about things that matter, and I still want to make like feel good music. And I kind of think of Saynt Ego more as a project that I'm producing versus a band. Because running a business, having kids, I don't really have time to be like a band that like goes out and does the band thing all the time. That's also a gamble, like a big gamble. Exactly, like you don't make a lot of money at first. So I'm like, I want to do this. So I think the best way to do it is to do a few shows a year, work on a project at a time, and just find a way to make it fit into my life versus like leaving everything that is good to chase like one idea. So that's kind of how Saynt Ego exists for me.
Very cool.
I like how you use your artistic process to process your grief.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds like you're like everyone else that we've been interviewing. It's like I have the job and then I have the art.
Yeah.
And it's like that's just so neat that you've been able to use your craft, and then also reaffirm yourself in your craft that like, oh, I can do like experimental shit that's outside of the confines of what people expect from Will. And then also learn about yourself on a deeper level. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's been like an amazing healing journey, like Saynt Ego, and then getting to film a music video with Logan Miller and Joy Brune. And we basically like sat down, wrote a script, pre-produced, planned out every single scene. We basically made like a mini short movie into a music video. And
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
yeah,
I like it a lot.
You guys were all at the shoots.
I was. I
which
think
was
you
cool.
I have a cameo. You can see my silhouette briefly in the.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I just like was in love with like the learning process, and that's kind of also how I feel about this show that we're doing together. It's just like a playground to produce and create and learn how to produce different and bigger things. You know,
with the grief processing, when you started the Saynt Ego project, did you have this? Did you expect that it would unfold in the way that it did? At least in your own kind of processing that grief?
like did the project become what I wanted it to become?
Yeah. What was like, I'm curious to know what your expectations getting into the beginning of it towards where it is now. Get the album out.
Yeah, I
performed it.
kind of had. I'm working on the practice of expectations. Also reading a book about it. Can't think of the name right now. And trying to like hold expectations very loosely of what something is supposed to become. Because I think if we hold on to something really tight and kind of force it to be something that we want, I think we like limit the possibilities of what can happen with it. So I try my best to like, well, let's let Saynt Ego become whatever it becomes. If by any chance it blows up and goes viral and I could potentially make so much more money doing Saynt Ego full time than a podcast business, I would probably do that, because that's like all signs lead to this is the path is, becoming before you. But that's not the case. So I'm very much like letting it kind of ebb and flow in and out of my life in the right times.
What about regarding like your relationship, or kind of like how you had felt with the challenge of, losing your best friend, like where you were emotionally from the beginning of the project to like where you are now with that?
Yeah, I think it's like there's a sense of closure with the grief because since I've released the album. I think there's a part of me that needed to, when you experience something that's like shocking like that and you experience loss very quickly and someone that's very close to you, like there's like a lot that you feel at once, and for a while you could be numb and not like feel like it's real and kind of dissociate. And so I feel like in a way, making the album, writing the songs, singing the songs allowed me to slowly like come back into my body and feel again, because the music was like, I feel very proud of the music. I really like the songs a lot, and I love them. So like the feeling of like working on them and starting to feel love for a thing you're making, that kind of basically brought me back in a lot of ways. And so that was like almost a 2-year process of writing the songs, recording the songs. No, a 3-year process. Writing the songs, recording the songs, releasing the songs. So it was a 3-year process. So since I've released the album, I feel the most sense of closure with that incident that happened, that grief. But,
Wow.
yeah.
That's cool. Like I'm like the whole situation, like the way you've approached it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that even you're talking about your new work where it's kind of having like a mental health like veneer, right? But actually a club sound veneer, but like a deeper kind of mental health thing. And I think, I don't know, I was listening to, what song was that? It was just like some EDM ass song saying, "You were the piece of me." But they play that shit all the time.
Yeah, that's
But it's like, what song is that?
Swedish House Mafia?
Clarity or something.
Yeah, clarity. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like
It's actually a beautiful melody.
It
yeah,
is.
but it's
Oh, yeah.
also like, was someone crying on the piano to this shit? Because like when you just listen to the vocals, you're like, whoa, this isn't like this happy like Zed's
Yeah, it's a Zed
Zed
song.
record.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's so much like feeling and heart behind
Yeah.
this.
I mean, and there's just a
Yeah,
lot of club
yeah.
music that's like shake the dust and boop, you know, and that's fun. And
think
there
my-
are the artists that need to make those songs, but like I'm not that one, but I like that kind of music. So okay, let's just make it deeper in meaning, like, and we can still dance and have a good time to like thinking about emotions.
And I love that song, but I just you don't. It's so. I think you do this too, where it's like it's club, but like you don't really realize you're being hit with like a real message.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that one with Heartwork too.
Well, I
The
notice that
remix.
stuff when I'm in clubs. Those are the kind of songs that will stand out to me from a
Wow.
DJ or from an artist that's like putting something that's meaningful into the set. I always notice that, and so
Wow.
I'm gonna do the same thing. You know,
See, I'm just there to like rage.
but like that also helps me rage. I just get comfortable. You know,
Yeah,
like,
no.
you feel kind of seen when their message speaks to you, so then
Yeah.
you can then rage.
Also, I think
rage
like,
with purpose.
for people
Raging
who
with purpose.
people who like to dance in clubs while on drugs, it's way better when there's like a message that's interesting than
People.
Who
are these people?
I don't know. I've heard they're like,
A friend of a
yeah,
friend of a
I know
friend.
somebody
I've
who's
heard
like,
that too.
yeah,
A guy
I
I know.
like did MDMA, and I was like, tell me about that.
Well,
Anyway, what they told me,
yes,
Is
more.
that-
Oh,
yeah,
what did they tell you?
they told me it tastes really bad.
Oh.
It tastes way worse than you think every time.
Really?
And you're like, I'll be fine. And you're like, oh God, that's what they told me.
Dang.
And then,
Good to know.
But anyway, like it's you know, emotions and dancing are great with drugs. Just so I've been told.
I mean,
So
yeah,
people need
I
to
have a
make
good
some
time.
more music that have cool emotion in it. Because all those people that do drugs will, you know,
Maybe they'll
go
change their
cry.
life.
You literally and be like,
yeah,
damn,
and they'll
I'm
not
doing the wrong
they'll
shit.
stop doing drugs. 'Cause
Yeah,
drugs
maybe
are
that's
bad.
what we're trying to do. We're trying to get everyone to stop doing drugs with our
Yes.
emotional, deep EDM music.
Yeah.
No.
Low key though, I
I
actually
see the
do,
agenda. I like it.
I think about the relationship of that with mental health and art making. It's like this cocktail of the way you feel influences what you make tremendously. Sometimes I'm like, I will only make what I feel, not out of choice, but like that's what's probably going to end up happening. Because I'm not going to be inspired to make some shit I just don't feel. Like I'll it just doesn't end up coming into fruition. I mean, I'll make stuff I don't really like, but I rarely like continue that, you know.
Yeah.
And anyway, but like it's tough because like sometimes you don't feel good. And you're like, I don't feel good right now, and I don't want to, or the feeling I have is not one that inspires me to create.
Yeah,
And,
it's tough because like I don't get a whole lot of time to do it very much. Like so, when I do have time to create something, it feels like sacred time. Like it's only happens once every couple of weeks or 3 weeks or something at this point, and it's like, so there's a part of like if I'm hitting a wall with it, I like want to try to push past the wall because I have this time blocked off for it. But there's other times I'm hitting the wall, I'm like, I don't have it tonight. And I'm going to sit here for 3 or 4 hours and try and then be more frustrated because I just didn't have it tonight. And being okay with like, I don't have it tonight. I'm going to go do something else creatively, maybe. And finding, like sometimes like our categories of creativity, we have to like know what they are. And so like, so we can pivot if we're hitting a block with like writing music. Oh, I'm going to go work on a screenplay instead. Or like, I'm just going to watch a movie and like study it. Like watch the movie and study everything about it. You know, that's like one of my favorite things to do.
So I
I
can't
love
watch
that.
movies and not. It's bad. It's like
Yeah.
I don't watch movies.
I'm like
for
watching the
enjoyment.
editing and I'm like asking
Slow
questions.
pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well as like, there's so much art that goes into that.
So with your with songwriting, right? From what I understand from my music friends, like music isn't necessarily linear. Like it could be like you were out walking on Riverside and then you have like an inspiration. You're like da 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 da, like you kind of like sing a little melody or something, and then you dig it up like 6 months later, you're like, oh, this is fire.
No,
And if
I do that
it's
all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll have like, I'll like sing a little melody. I was literally in Vegas with my dad and brother last week, and I had a moment. I walked off the elevator. I'm meeting them at the roulette table, and I had a melody in my head, and I was like, I need to track this. So I whipped up my voice memo, and I'm singing it as I'm walking through slot machines, and you can hear all the slots going in the background.
That's crazy.
And so I'm like, ooh, that's gonna be something I should like pay attention to.
Yeah.
It's like there's something special, magical in that like little memo that maybe I can write a song from.
That's cool.
Wow.
So then I got to the table, and I was like, okay, let's play roulette.
How do
Man.
you organize that process? Because like
It's a little
everyone's
messy.
different. Yes, exactly. I'm like, it's so
I'll
fascinating.
put a star in my voice memo if I need to go back to it. Usually, like a double star, like you better hurry and get back to that. Like I kind of
that's
tell
the
myself
fire.
Yeah.
with these little stars.
Don't let that glimmer die. Like there's, I don't know. So that's, you said like you have space between. So how, it's interesting because I've always had this panic, at least in songwriting, and I'm probably not as experienced as you, but like if I don't sit down and like complete the whole thing, it's just not going to happen. I don't think I've ever finished a song that I got halfway through and like couldn't finish all the way. It's like if I didn't take it from beginning to end all in that like day or whatever it was that I was like focused on it, I would get to like half a song and I could never come back and put the second half on there.
I've had both ways. Like I've had like those spurts where I'm physically incapable of not finishing it because I'm in the flow.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'm in the channel. And so like there's been, especially during that demo time I was talking about, like I'd be coming to bed at like, I'd start at like 9 p.m. and I'd come to bed by like 2 a.m. with like a almost finished demo of like just going at it really hard.
Whoa.
Karis would always text me like, "You're stomping on the," as I'm in the attic. She's like, "You're stomping on the ground again." I'm just probably going like boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, and there's other times that like it's I have a melody idea and I'm gonna sit with it for a while and I'm gonna listen to other songs that I like and I'm gonna get inspiration. I'm gonna be like, okay, what if I like imagine this melody with like this band's kind of drummy trance, and then we added like this band's like synthy kind of type sounds. I'm gonna like take these ideas and I try to like make a melody, like make some music around this melody. And so that's usually how I would start a demo, and then that's also how basically me and Logan Bruin makes songs too. Like, I'll be like, hey, I have this melody and I think this song is really cool. What if it was a cross between this song? And then we just jump in. Little keys, a little beat, a little like start putting it together, put it together like puzzle pieces. And then by then, Logan's kind of maybe doing chords and piano, and I'm writing. I'm like, okay, I'm writing off of this melody idea. Now.
Wow.
I'm writing some lyrics down and stuff.
Do you ever write lyrics first, or is it always melody first?
Mostly melody first, because I'm moved by melody first, and then lyrics have always been the hardest for some reason for me. Sometimes I've hit like really good writing moments, but a lot of it, I'm never the most in love with my lyrics. I feel like I could have written it like better, like said it better.
There's no satisfaction.
I keep seeing this thread with everyone that we interview, and it's like it's the thing that you put the most pressure on that like restricts. Like you don't have a problem with melody. Like you're like that shit'll flow out of me. Like I'm gonna go record it real quick in between the elevator and the slots in Vegas. You know what I mean? I just find that so fascinating. Like everyone we've talked to has had like this one thing in their process where they're like, but this shit. But lyrics are a bitch. And you're like, damn, did that sound like illiterate?
I know,
And
right?
sometimes that works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I was working. I just realized I was working on the song with Logan, and I was saying disassociating, and it's just dissociating. So I'm like, oh shit.
You really on some future shit.
I was like, I have to like rephrase that whole line.
Do you though?
Yeah, do you?
Fuck it up.
Disassociating? That's not a real word. Then you look stupid, right?
No.
Then you could sell a baby tea that spells it like
What's
that.
his
and then
name?
you made more money.
Yeah, Kanye had a line that was like 300.
You know what I mean?
He said
That's
300
how the world is.
bitches
It's
with the
sick.
Trojan, and the 300s were Spartans. They're not Trojans.
That's where
That's
where
historical
my
I don't mind
accuracy.
being an idiot.
That's
And
where
I was like,
my
that's not
writing-
even. But it's still cool.
like I like to write
a great line,
stories,
yeah.
and I'm like trying to practice how to
Yeah,
write
he did say
screenplays right now. So like, there's a part of me that's like that's a different part of my brain that's writing stories, and I'm like trying to go with good like proper grammar, or at least talk like how people talk. And so when I'm crossing the music world, saying something like differently than I would, or like adding a different syllable to a word, makes me feel like
You got that calm J school abuse, where you're like,
yeah, for sure.
You've got that PTSD.
Well, I mean, those are like the things that influence our style. I think there's like this thing about style, where it's, I think, the intersection of all of your best traits and all of your weaknesses show together to create this unique like
really
thumbprint, right? And often I think it's the stuff we dislike is like the weak stuff are lacking, but that's what makes it look, that's what ends up making it unique, one, and there's some value, but like uniqueness isn't everything. It also has to be worth listening to or engaging with. But I think it like all we can do is our best, which is going to end up being, you know, full of flaws, because we are too. And sometimes it's like your weaknesses end up guiding you toward this area that, you know, if you were strong, you wouldn't have gone that path, because like, oh, I can handle this, and you just plow through with whatever skill set you have. But if you're weak in that area, you end up innovating in some other way, which, you know, can become, I think that's often where like the discoveries or the breakthroughs in genre happen, is not the person's ability, but like it's also their inability. You know, like I don't know if when I think of like trap music, right? It's like one of the coolest genres, at least like just the electronic beat making side. Or Dilla. Let's go to Dilla, right? Jay Dilla. He's exalted as like the best like person for rhythm, and his handprints or the impact he had on music is massive. But a lot of it had to do with the limitations within the technology he was giving and his like way of playing with that. It's like he didn't have access to full orchestras and he had like a whatever the little drum machine was, and like just do like put, you know, it had these like syncopated, because he didn't do like maybe quantizing. Anyway, there's like ways you could have a drum machine sound like a drum machine, hit everything perfectly, or you could like, you know, fill in those spaces like Dilla does, like a Dilla beat, and then it ends up being this huge thing. And it's like, I don't know if...
Do you mean Dom Dolla or Dilla?
Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
Jay
also like a drum heavy dance artist called Dom Dolla. That's really good too.
Anyway, it's like there's something about having, you know, it's like the Rick Rubin thing, right? Like he often talks about like there's only like one person who's going to be able to bring forth their version of genius, and it must happen with the way that they are. Like it must, like Anthony Kiedis, let's say, right, singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers. His voice sounds the way that it does. It sounds like his voice, right? Like he can't, and I don't know if I would assume, because like the theme is like artists are never pleased. I would assume there's probably things within his singing style he wish he could do that he can't do or doesn't do. But it's because he sings the way that he does that he writes the music the way that it is, and it has that unique signature sound that then becomes kind of its own genre in a way.
We were just listening to Father John Misty on stage in between tapings, and that's another artist who's like genius, and there's no voice that sounds like his at all. And it's not like the most amazing voice in the world either.
Right.
Like it's pretty chill. It's pretty like kind of like, it's pretty like average voice. Like he has some good belting ranges, but it's pretty like chill. But like he's just locked into it with like, has a very unique vocal sound, and then his lyrics are like insane. Like I'm not even like a lyric person, but like I'm like listening to like these stories he's telling and captivated by it. And his voice is pretty good, so it makes it like a good experience. But no one like sounds like him that I can think of. You know, that's just an example. Who's another example that's like that for you as an artist? That's like, no one sounds like this. No one.
Well, there's like Lil Wayne, Wheezy. I think is like, I remember having this arc with him as a teenager. I was like really into hip hop, but this like kind of like dogmatic, like 4 elements of hip hop, old school breakdancing, graffiti. It was like this different thing that like didn't like pop hip hop, pop rap, which was like moving toward mumble rap, which is like complete heresy to these other like old heads. Anyway, I was like raised up on that shit, and it was like, this is good, this is not good. And I'm like, yes, sensei. So Wheezy Wayne is like blowing up in the 2000s, and I'm a little kid, and I'm like, this is oh, I'm like a teenager. I thought it was cool, but I also, anyway, his voice is so unique, right? The point is like, there's another artist I love who has like this phone. It's like a snippet of an interview with Wheezy weaved in. Do you know who Porter Robinson is? EDM artist. Anyway, amazing. Porter has like a new album. There's this like segment with Wheezy, and his voice is so like, you know, that thing he has that it's like,
The lean.
yeah, and he even like mentioned. It's funny because we talked about double cup and lean.
Yeah,
that there's a
it's like
snippet where he's talking about his double cup thing because, like, I guess what was the guy who does like the Beats interviews, whatever. He's in an interview, asked questions about his drug use, and has he put the cup down, and he's like, nobody knows what's in my cup, and regardless, it doesn't matter what's in my cup. Only I know what's in my cup, and even if it was full of lean, what did it do? Like, I ended up getting on auto-tune and stretching my voice and picked up a guitar, like did all kinds of weird stuff I never would have done. So who's to say? And then he's like, well, all I drink now is wine in my cup, if you're curious. Anyways, it's like weird like interlude in a song that's like all about emotions and mental health and EDM music. You'd love it.
I'm excited. I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah, I've listened to the breaks off that song.
You know that song "Can't Believe It" with T-Pain and Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's voice, Lil Wayne's verse, it's so incoherent. That's what I'm saying, and it does not have words. But like when people know it, they sing along, and it's like they just sing with the melody. But it's like it's literally incoherent. You're like, what did he actually just say?
Yeah,
but it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, and I wonder if he could have like I wonder if any artist had perfect control, like AI levels of like generate anything I can imagine, generate it, right? Like I think our art, I would assume a lot of it would be the same. Like, would you?
It's like
you
let's
know?
all be the coolest ever.
Right
now.
I'm a pretty big supporter of AI for the most part, but I do not want this AI music.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about AI music.
What about AI images? What about AI graphic design?
Okay,
what about AI eating Trueson's lunch?
When you have to make some kind of like bullshit banner for some like marketing company and it all looks the same and it's very basic.
Yeah.
Use AI for that to design that. Save your time to make. So yeah, I think use AI to help you with your art, but I don't want it to ever replace it. Mm-hmm. No, if there's a AI robot that learned how to make his own, they.
You were so respectful.
I don't know what you'd call a robot. I don't. If they made their own like
respectful.
If they made their own music on a piano or they made its own painting. I'd be like, that's really cool. AI 6532.
Well, it's all derived from encyclopedias. So it's like, was it even you?
Right.
But then as an artist, like in my opinion, you aren't shit if you don't have good references. Like you are your references.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but the AI is the whole reference.
It's all of it. It's like the inevitable output. Well, that's the thing is it's like AI is not going to create. I mean, even if you do ask it to create, like, generate new things, it's only, at least with generative AI, like what we have right now, it's only going to make an assembly of the information it has. So it can't create completely, entirely, truly new content if it's all just the generative of whatever you're asking it. But a segue to that I kind of want to throw this into the AI convo, I think that there are different kinds of art, and there's art that's job is to entertain, and then there's art that's job is to touch the soul.
Yeah.
And the art that's there to entertain, AI is going to win every time. But the art that is there to touch the soul, it can only be done by humans, because the whole point of the expression is that they're expressing their humanity. My love, my hatred, my frustration, my confusion, my whatever, my completely like Weezer, where it's like, it's my just laissez-faire suburban attitude is my song. Like it's whatever, right? And that's the thing that's what makes, I think, Father John Misty interesting, is that he's trying to speak his truth in some way. I think when we see the artists that do it really well, we're convinced that like they mean it. Anyway, the AI can't mean it. So it can still sonically have, cool sounds, but it wouldn't be something that you're going to like resonate with while you're like a teenager going through puberty and crying and trying to figure out like why you hate your parents so much. I don't know if AI is going to do that like Linkin Park would do that.
I was wondering if you think then can AI express emotion? Can it get intelligent enough to express emotion?
Well, if you ask me and the way I believe what emotion is, I would say yeah, because I think it's a mechanical, biological thing. So if some other machine can replicate whatever process that is, then yeah, I would say it's intelligent.
So if the machine can use that emotion to paint something, can you say it has soul in it?
I would say yeah, it has robotic soul, but I don't think humans are interested in it. No, I think it would, but I don't think we would care.
I feel like it's like
I don't think we would like
manipulation
it.
though, because it's like, again, this could be in an encyclopedia about like an emotional intelligence textbook at a university.
Right.
And like, oh, well, I believe that you are doing this.
Well, here's the thing. Like, that's the thing about fine art. At least as a painter, I have to grapple this with like pricing and why the banana taped to the wall in Basel was what it was. Is that the thing we really care about when you get into like the fine art? This is like connoisseurs of anything. When people are a connoisseur of whiskey or Jordans or cigars, the things they like tend to be wrapped up. The things that usually are the biggest drivers in prices are the intangible things. So an example of this great wine from this one region in France by this one family that has dates of every wine harvest and grow that go all the way back to the 12th century when they owned that, right? Every single one, they've got it recorded. And you could get one of those bottles that existed in some perfect year that was also the one that Napoleon had and never opened. Okay, that is going to be way more interesting if I tell you that and then push the glass in front of you and you know it's true. You know I'm not fucking with you. It's verified. You drank that wine. It's going to taste different because of the humanity involved. There's all of this story about us, the people who lived there, who went through that trial, the fact that you're encountering and engaging with some other part of history. All of that stuff is what makes the most expensive cigar interesting, is who rolled it, where was the tobacco grown, all that stuff. It's like the thing the Japanese have perfected with their like mastery concepts within craft. So you have like the master chopstick maker or the master cup maker, like these like very specific disciplines that they like obsess over, and you have like, it becomes dogmatic in a way. That's the shit we love, because that's like the human labor side, right? That's if you learn this was like a mass manufactured thing it's not interesting. But if I told you I made this from scratch and blew the glass and put the sand in there, it's like, damn, Trueson, that's
beautiful.
Yeah, it becomes interesting. So I think if I paint a painting and you see it's interesting, it moves you. Yeah. And then I tell you that everything that is about that feeling is exactly the feeling I wanted to convey with you, because it's truly how I feel. And I hope it makes sense to you, but it may not. And it's this feeling that helps you feel or understand yourself in a way you'd never had before. Like I have a few pieces in my house that are like kind of touching that zone where I'm like, there's something about this image that captures a way I feel and explains it or expresses it in a way that I just can't with words. And I know the other artist thoroughly understood what the fuck they were doing in making that feeling. Like it's a sincere feeling that we both share in common. And I see their humanity, and it's like a mirror for me to see my own. I think the best music does that. The best poetry does that.
Yeah.
And like when you personally can't like show up in that exact emotional state, the song can carry you there. Wow. Which is what I think is beautiful.
Absolutely. Man, that's like music's power. Gosh, how many times have you been singing a song and then like got lost in it and you're like, oh shit, I'm feeling this in a way that you're just like, I may not have even ever really experienced this.
Probably Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
I love that you love Sabrina Carpenter. She's really too good.
I remember the line she said about marking territory, and I was like, this shit is crazy. Anyway,
What's up with the kids?
Yeah, I'm like, are we marking territory now? This is wild. That was the line that like.
How do you guys? We don't have to go here. We could pivot a different direction. But what do you guys think of the P Diddy thing?
Dude, yeah. I honestly haven't really followed it too much, but it didn't surprise me at all.
Dude, there's like a list of A-listers that are gonna get in trouble apparently.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
But I think it might
I mean,
be
like,
an
I think-
Epstein moment.
Some
where
people are
it's like
calling it
you
the cleansing-
died,
the
and then
cleansing.
everyone's-
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think the people who are really powerful are gonna be like, hey, this will kill everybody. Like, I'll die and you'll die too. So let's cease and desist, and let's collectively agree that we don't know what happened, and people will forget. They'll continue to
I don't
scroll.
think people are gonna forget.
What
Like,
about
there were
Epstein,
too
though?
many
Like, have you
memes.
seen the shit about, like, all the documents they've shown of all these big people who've been moving around, who've been to that island? And yet, like...
But it's also because P. Diddy's cultural impact as well, you know?
Yeah.
Making the Band, that was some good TV.
Damn.
Remember that shit?
Yeah. I remember the Chappelle
But I think
skits about
it's a combined, like this whole summer has been what? Brat Summer, Kamala, and Kamala, sorry. I'm country, y'all. And then P. Diddy. That's all I've been seeing, like going on the Explore page in the feeds.
Yeah.
You know? I'm
Somehow
I don't think
my
it was
algorithm, like-
swept under.
blocked it from me, protected me from it.
You don't see it? I want to see your Explore page. What do you look at?
I'd be so embarrassed. That could be its own show right there. If like,
Wow.
let's see your Explore page. Like,
Trueson's
what do you
Explorer
get?
page.
What's your Explore page?
Like on Instagram, or
Yeah, when you just
it's a lot of art. I'm proud of that. I like try to swat anything that isn't like I'll look at it collectively, and I want to make sure that if Zia looked over my shoulder, she'd be proud. I want her to look at it.
She'd be like,
Okay, no, not like, and no, I want her to look at it and be like, damn, that's cool. Trueson always has the coolest shit on there. Like,
I haven't done
that's
a
so
good
cool.
Explorer
No
dive in a long
Instagram
time.
thoughts.
No, I'm married. My wife's hot. Why would I do that?
True. I mean, but it's Instagram. You guys mean to tell me you don't look at the baddies on the Explore page?
I wouldn't do that on Explore page. It's got to be in a.
It doesn't just pop
what's
up
the,
on
What's
yours?
the incognito browser? Come on.
On Instagram?
I wouldn't do that. I have boundaries. The
You
moment
listen,
is
yeah,
you
I
have
have
a very
boundaries too.
curated feed.
yeah.
My TikTok is basically
being good.
DJs, movies, and Hollywood gossip.
Yeah, mine's Hollywood gossip, hotties, and then like art, and then marketing shit. Where it's like
Learn how to
do a
do
TikTok
PPP.
and the
Yeah, every
Yeah.
day, 2 times a day,
we
3 times a
we
day.
gotta keep learning though.
Every
I know.
day.
I'm like, leave me alone.
But it's annoying though. You plant it into your algorithm. Like, teach me something.
Like,
and then you're like, I hate you every time you come up.
Yeah, and the new thing is ChatGPT hacks too. So
I learned that.
we're ranting.
Yeah.
raving
I
about
was, we were
GPT
trying to hack a
already.
BMW the other day.
Whoa.
So we could like watch movies on it, but
Because it has that nice little dash.
yeah, they kind of stopped that shit.
Dang, haters.
I know.
Okay, so Will, you're familiar with these, right?
Yes.
Okay. These are my spectacles. These appeared in my house. I have been exploring these things I call creative spirits. I set out, all the materials for them to assemble, and then sometimes they do.
A symbol.
These are interesting because they allow me to see, I can do creative readings with them. The person I look at, I get these visions that are usually quite specific to that person and what's going on in their world. Sometimes it's like just because you were thinking about somebody, or maybe it was because it was something you did recently, or it could be something you're working on or planning to do. I don't know. But it is something I encourage you to take it seriously.
Okay.
And
I believe in magic.
here's the thing. If it's true, it shouldn't matter how I got there. If it's true. It shouldn't matter how I got there.
It's the channel,
That's how I
right?
always felt
It's
about
the channel.
math tests. It's like, I got the answer. Don't make me now prove your work.
Yeah, I hated that.
It's like, I got it right.
So just let me
Okay,
move on.
so
Prove
we
your
should all
genius.
agree that if I get it right, don't make me do the prove it right, because I probably don't know how to. That's the truth. Is
I'm not going to make you prove anything.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I'm in the flow.
All right.
I'm in the flow.
So I'm gonna put them on, and we'll
Once
see
he
what we
gets
see.
once he gets someone, we'll talk. No,
Okay, I'm seeing. Well, right away I saw a neon sign of this coffee cup It's in New York City. It's this like classic like these kind of shaped cups tipped sideways and there's like steam coming out of it. A little New York City cafe, and looks like it's snowing. And yeah, it's like a neon sign. I'm just kind of like seeing that little spot. There's like classic cinematic New York jazz kind of like quietly playing in the background. It's nighttime.
Yeah. I think I know what it is already, I think.
What is it?
Probably Citizens of Chelsea coffee shop in Chelsea. They have a neon sign inside. I think there's a coffee cup involved. But that was the inspiration of Citizens of Sound. It's a coffee shop called Citizens of Chelsea.
Oh, shit.
My podcast agency.
Whoa.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love New York more than anything in the world. But that was where I got the idea.
All right. Well, that makes sense. That checks out. I'm now seeing coral reef or pieces of coral assembled in a vase like flowers. Like imagine, coral in all the different shapes and colors, but it's not in the ocean. It's like in a vase. There's water in the vase. There's fish in the water. I see it on like a large table. There's nobody in a room. It's like a beach house. There's a central window that's framing this coral bouquet, kind of square. The coral's right in the middle of this like bouquet. The frame window's right around it, and it's open. I can see the ocean. It's like probably midday. There's curtains kind of gently blowing in the breeze. Do you know what that is? Does that make any sense to you?
I don't know what it is, but I like to think that your readings could also be like future images that I should maybe look out for, or watch for.
Okay.
Later.
Are you planning a beach trip?
No, but
Could be a cool visual though.
I mean, a beach house sounds amazing. Maybe I will buy a vase of coral.
I don't know if that's a thing. Do you have just coral? I don't know.
in the
Like,
vase.
No,
yeah.
I know
Do you
what
have
mean.
any? Have you ever been snorkeling or?
I've been scuba diving. It's one of my favorite.
Okay. You did say that earlier, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Have you done that recently?
No, I need to.
Planning?
I don't think
Or is it something you're
I don't
looking-
think I've gone scuba diving since I was like 18. But it's crazy, dude. Like they're talking about how the aliens like
Are in the water.
are in the water, and I think after you scuba dive, you can probably believe that. Like it's a whole universe in the ocean. It's so big. So scuba diving, you can see all these colors and fish and nature and creation, and then just like realizing how big it is and how deep it goes. Yeah, probably.
Atlantis
Aliens.
up in there.
Interesting.
Down in there.
Okay. I keep seeing a pineapple, and I'm pretty sure that's because there's one right there. Is that pineapple, or I'm assuming that's what I'm seeing?
That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Your literal pineapple.
Okay. All right.
It's in front of you.
Okay. Oh, there's a mic there.
Oh,
All right.
didn't see the
see,
mic.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm getting like static here. I'm seeing Okay, hold on. I'm seeing a trash can I'm seeing you take out the trash at your house.
okay.
I'm
It's
gonna get that
cold,
And I'm like, I'm
night,
triggered.
and you're pulling the bins out to the
Don't miss
curb.
trash day.
Wait, is tomorrow trash day?
Wait, today is Monday. No, my neighbor's trash day though. Maybe I should take down his trash for him.
That's
Well,
fine.
anyway, I see you taking trash out to the curb. Is that? Are you serious? Is there some trash chore you have? Stop it right now.
No, that's Thursday nights for me.
Okay.
But my neighbor does have his trash picked up on Tuesdays. Also, he pays for the extra.
Wow.
So maybe I'll take his trash down tonight for him.
Oh, okay,
But
interesting.
I have a long driveway, so it's like a process to take my trash down to the curb. It's like a thing.
What happened? Like, walk me through that process when you do that.
Well, it's actually a moment of gratitude I have because it's so beautiful out there. My cat always runs out and follows me. I see these beautiful trees. I see this house I own with my family. I walk down there, drop off the trash, I look down the curb, up the street, and I feel grateful. And then I turn around, sneak a hit of my vape, and get into my house. And I actually like the little ritual of it.
Interesting. Maybe there's some like metaphorical trash moment happening or going toward like in your life where you're gonna take that journey and have that gratitude moment. I don't know. I'm personally seeing significance with like the concept of the garbage and what's inside.
Yeah.
And taking it out, but that's probably
Could
me
be,
like
well, it could be
projecting.
metaphorical, and I'll think of it as both. I'll
Interesting,
take
yeah.
that and I'll process it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, make sure you take your neighbor's trash out. Don't forget.
maybe it's maybe it's time to clean up a little bit.
Yeah, it could be that. You know, that's the thing. It's like it could be the pineapple that's right in front of me is why I'm seeing that. It could be that you have a chore to do and that's what I'm getting, or it could be some way bigger thing that should be genuinely investigated and taken seriously. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're taping in December right now. This will probably come out in February. So hopefully I've done it by then. But I always like to think of like going into a new year, like leave some stuff behind, and then like walk into some new shoes of some sort, right? Buy a new pair of shoes, leave some stuff behind. Sounds like a Matthew McConaughey line, but
It's awesome.
well,
I
so
think
I'm gonna be
that's-
thinking about the trash and what I should leave behind going into this new year, 2025. That feels like a significant number for some reason, doesn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's like all the like
five.
20. Wait, we just did the in between, like 21, 20, 20, 24 from COVID. 25 feels like something else.
Yeah, it's like.
So I'm curious what's gonna happen in 2025.
Me too. I have big hopes. I think that's the time we have for this reading. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for letting me see that. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me do that reading.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. I believe in magic. I think we all have a sense. Like, I think in some ways, like everyone is born with, like going back to Christianity, some sort of gift of some sort. And maybe it's just like intuitive, like being intuitive, or people can see things. Like I've met enough people who say they see things, and I'm like, okay, I think people do see things. Like there's enough people saying they see things. People gotta be able to see things.
Yeah, no,
So,
I never
like-
doubted that people see things.
Right, and like I think people have senses, they can read auras. I believe in that. So yeah, I take this seriously.
Cool.
What you do?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. And I actually like, despite my, being kind of contradictory there, do take that part of it seriously too. I actually try to like do it for real, and I'm not interested in doing it for fake. You may as well do it for real.
Yeah.
This is a time for you to tell us what's going on. What are you doing? What are you up to?
Follow, like, subscribe.
Yeah, comment, subscribe.
So I'm always working on a project, and I kind of bounce around between Saynt Ego, my business, Belafonte, a venue we own west side of Tulsa. Those are like my big three where I am making something, producing something. Citizens of Sound is my business. I have to always be making something in that to get paid. Saynt Ego is my extension of my art when I have time. Belafonte is a venue I'm trying to get up and running and try to create some community and culture out of by like taping shows there, having comedy nights. So that's what's happening at Belafonte. I'm just recently started to tape bands. We did Damien Shade and Madame Zeroni. Sounds really good. They have full sets on YouTube, and I'm gonna tape a full set of comics next week. They're touring comics, so I'm trying to create like a little bit of like a tiny desk for music and comedy in some sort. Film it out of Belafonte and have people come through, book it out, and host events. So that's like what I'm working on with Belafonte. Have new songs I'm dropping with Saynt Ego in the winter, probably January, February. Drop those two singles I mentioned earlier. And me, Logan, and Joy want to make another film, so we'll probably start talking about another film of some sorts. And then in my business, my business is interesting because there's obviously like the cash projects you have to do, pay bills, and then there's also like opportunities you have when you're doing well in your career and you can produce good quality stuff. So that's also like an area that I'm always chasing the next project that can, one, pay well, but also like be creatively fulfilling and exciting and something that I could be proud of putting my name behind. So that's what I'm always chasing in my podcast business. And I get maybe about like a few of those a year that I'm like, throw a lot of my soul into. But I have a lot of amazing clients, a lot of good projects I like to make. Lots of different types of shows. Like one of them is like a vet who interviews people about their animal soulmate, and they'll go through their life with this animal, and they'll talk about why that animal is significant. So like I make stuff like that too, that is just feels like it's meaningful messages into the world. So in my business, that's kind of a question mark for next year. I'm excited to see. I don't have anything solidified, so I'm excited to see what shows I might start producing next year. Want to do a design comedy show at Belafonte. I want to make a short film if I can. I have a lot of ideas. It's just all about timing. So I have to know when. Right, it took me about a year to get excited about doing this production for Belafonte. So I also try to just listen to where I am in life, to figure out which project, which lane should take priority. So that's kind of what I'm exploring right now.
Yeah, keeping that channel open.
Keeping it open.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I think.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes, this is one for the books.
We got deep. We got silly. We
Little
got
bit.
deep.
We got silly in the
nice.
beginning.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, we crossed a lot of.
True pro.
Yeah,
True pro
a
right
lot of
here.
ground. We
Good
covered
job.
a lot of ground. Yeah. And that concludes the amount of time that we have available for this episode. I'd like to thank Pop House, ASLUT, the historic Riverside Studio, Citizens of Sound, Ian Upton, Prince Ferrell, Will Retherford, and myself for this amazing production. We're going to take you live to the parlor now for you to hear Saint Ego. And with that,
We'd like to remind you guys too.
Keep the channel open.
Drowning in my memory vein, twisting turns they haunt me. Don't know what to say, 'cause I'm at the edge of the line. Dreams, I see you there in the sky. If only I knew you were quietly losing your mind. You might be still alive. With my own sense, every day I'm slowly making such a mess, 'cause I'm at the edge of the line. Dreams, I see you there in the sky. If only I knew you were quiet mutilation. My memory bank is scars intention. I need to find